Alright, welcome back. It's Lee. I've got another Illaoi matchup video for you guys. I have Edispaghetti as a guest today.
Hello.
You can find him twitch.tv/Edispaghetti. What do you play?
I'm a Jayce main for the most part. So I know this matchup in and out.
Awesome. Uh, Pre-game. Who wins?
Pre-game?
Yeah, who wins this matchup in Champion Select? Before
Okay,
you
so
even load onto the Rift.
it's really up to the Jayce to lose this matchup because Jayce basically controls everything about laning, like when you fight, where you fight, and how long you fight for. So Jayce's kit should naturally counter a lot of Illaoi's kit, but that doesn't mean, of course, the matchup is unwinnable because Jayce rarely plays perfectly. So it's up to the Illaoi to also punish Jayce hard for any mistakes he makes.
Right, you have to recognize those mistakes.
Right,
You also
exactly.
have to play reactively as Illaoi to a certain extent. Um, You can go for poke, just like Jayce goes for poke, but your all-in engagements are kind of up to Jayce to use his to the skies and dash in.
Right, exactly. And Illaoi has certain windows, especially later on past level 6, where she should be looking to really pressure Jayce hard. And I think once we start talking about trading and laning, we can go into that more in depth. So,
All right. What keystone are you taking?
as Jayce, I usually take either Storm Raider Surge or Thunderlord's Decree. And they both have certain merits to them. I think Thunderlord's Decree is the best if at first, if you're confident in the matchup. If you're confident, you can get off a lot more harass on Illaoi in short trades, especially with like your uh, your ranged W can proc it really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have an aggressive jungler and you're looking to gank Illaoi early to shut her down, Thunderlords is brings a lot more kill pressure in a gank or in
I
an
would
all
agree
in.
with that.
Yeah, so that's definitely one option. The other Storm Raiders is if you're not as confident, and it's all around probably the smarter choice because it lets you disengage from
It's harder
Illaoi.
to chase you down because you're gonna
Right,
trigger it almost every time you do your full combo.
exactly. Yeah, and it really plays to Jace's strength, which is being able to choose when you get to fight and how long the fight happens for. So Storm Raiders, I would say, is it's all around the smarter choice, but either one really you'll see pretty often.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna recommend Storm Raiders also for Illaoi because it's the contest of can I chase you down and continue to trade when you don't want to trade anymore.
right,
You can run Grasp and be a little bit more tanky. You can run Deathfire and have a little bit stronger poke and scaling damage. But I think Storm Raiders is hands down the best one for this matchup. Um, in terms of runes and masteries, you can run a standard AD page like this. Um, or you can do something like this that has flat attack damage, scaling attack damage, and then some cooldown reduction in there. Is that about what you're doing? Is also flat AD?
yeah. Most Jace players I think will opt for flat AD so they can trade harder with auto attacks. You might see a few attack speed runes either in quints or usually quints, maybe one or two quints for attack speed, and that lets Jace auto attack a bit smoother, and it makes it less likely to get hit by retaliation in the form of Illaoi's Q or E. So just about, yeah.
Right on. You want to jump into the replay?
Should we go over items maybe
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general? Yeah.
What are you starting?
Okay. I think Jace should optimally start Doran's Blade in most situations because it gives him first extra HP, which is really nice for later on when you might start all-inning. And most importantly, though, the lifesteal, the 3% lifesteal
Uh huh.
helps Jay shrug off minion damage and harass from Illaoi, especially since he it's up to the Jayce to keep autoing the Illaoi, and as a result, he will be taking some caster minion damage that he will be able to heal up, and he does have a Doran's
Yeah, the
Blade.
chip damage does matter when it adds up.
Right. Yeah.
What about Longsword 3-pot?
Longsword 3-pot is another alternative. It's slightly more aggressive. It leaves you squishier, and it's it's sort of greedy, but it can definitely pay off if you get ahead and if you get a jungle gank and you can build into an earlier serrated Dirk or Phage, usually Phage, I think, and that lets you hit your spikes faster and pressure the enemy laner a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you can also turn that longsword into an executioner's calling, which is really good against Illaoi.
Yes.
But again, that does leave you really squishy, and you have to constantly auto attack the Illaoi. So it leaves you a bit more vulnerable in terms of tankiness.
I think we decided both of us wanted to go for an early Phage Ninja Tabi.
Right. And that's, of course, because this matchup is so mobility dependent, as in who can outmaneuver the other in terms of landing skill shots or
Right.
disengaging the other.
You want the movement speed to dodge the skill shots. I want the movement speed to kite you out or chase you down.
Right. Yeah. So usually you will see, I think, a Phage and probably a Ninja Tabi, but depending on how the matchup is going, it might be sooner rather than later. Usually the person who's losing the lane should get a Ninja Tabi faster,
Okay.
while the person winning, I think, should be prioritizing like a faster Black Cleaver.
I've also heard it mentioned that if you're playing a ranged versus melee matchup and you're the melee, to get your boots faster.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a big part of it. Usually melee champs struggle with, of course, getting kited in Illaoi's case, and Ninja Tabi does help that a lot. So, yep.
Awesome. What are you building that Phage into? Black Cleaver?
Um, yeah, I think in about 80% of cases, you will see Jayce build that into Black Cleaver. Depending on how many tanks there are on the enemy team, though, it might be also worth it to build a Trinity Force on Jayce. If the enemy team has a lot of tanks, and Black Cleaver
Mm-hmm.
is like a natural choice. Um, but the mobility from Trinity Force, like the extra movement speed it gives you, and this attack speed, and especially the
Right,
attack speed,
it gives
actually.
you percentage movement speed, it gives you the Phage proc.
Right. Yeah. So it actually lets you outmaneuver Illaoi easier, and if they don't have that many tanks, then it lets you duel like, mages and assassins better than a Black
Mm-hmm.
Cleaver would. So that's also another
I like
alternative.
it for the same reasons, and I build it for the same reasons on Illaoi. In this
Yeah.
particular matchup, though, I believe your passive gives you quite a few free stats, especially when you rank it up. So that's why I'm going to still recommend the Black Cleaver as the first item, because you shred those free armor stats that Jayce gets.
Right.
Um,
Um, and Jace will be getting a Ninja Tabi, presumably,
mhm.
possibly a Guardian Angel too, depending on how late the game goes. Now that
um, in
it
terms
gives
of
80.
trading, I feel like Jayce wants to burst me, and I want to extend the trade. So that makes Jayce naturally want to go towards more of the heavy damage focus items, while I go towards more of the hybrid damage tank items.
Right. In general, I think the longer a trade goes, the more it swings into Alawi's favor. Jace really wants to poke you down, wear you down bit by bit over the course of laning, and then go for one big all in and finish you off before you can all in him back. And
Alternatively,
yeah,
win the lane by level 2.
yeah, or that. Jace's level of like 1 to 5 will be really, really impressive. Um, But it's important to note that while Jace does have 7 abilities at his disposal, if he wastes any of them or he switches form, he loses access to the other 3 abilities in the other form for a short period of time, and that leaves him vulnerable, especially early when his cooldowns are higher. So take note of that. That those are the windows where you want to look to fight back and pressure Jace.
You think you're
In
ready
general,
to jump in?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
I have a replay, and in this one he went for refillable and longsword. Corrupting's
Yeah,
just too
greedy.
good. You can definitely do the new Doran shield and 2 pots, or a cloth armor and 4 pots. I think corrupting is just too good for the additional damage. But I
Yeah,
end up
I agree with that for sure.
um, so if you are ranged and I'm melee, I feel like my best option sometimes is to push the lane as long as it's safe. Um, I'm gonna play this safe though because he gets the early level 2, and I'm just kind of staying back and farming.
Right. As
Um,
an Illaoi, you can also just sort of let him push you in,
mhm.
um, close to your tower, but not fully to your tower, so it doesn't rebound. And you'll be safe. You'll have a good position early, and you can start farming up a bit
Yeah, so at
until
this
later levels.
point, Rammus showed on this ward and he's ganking bottom, so I know that I can shove and be safe.
Right.
Um, I do want to just show this. He's got lane advantage just from the minions being pushed, but I know that since Rammus is ganking bot, I can start shoving. So that's why I took the W level 2. And I just want to push his minions in so that he's busy hitting the minions instead of hitting me, and I have more authority to stand
Right. I think also, especially early, you shouldn't be you shouldn't be trying to take any free damage if you can, but at the same time, don't be afraid to shove aggressively if you know you'll be safe, because you can always TP back to lane, and usually a Jayce can't get off like a TP gank bot lane at level 5 or something like that. So you can take a bit of that harass, shrug it off with corrupting potion, and be back in lane with TP with a refilled corrupting potion,
Right.
while he has to buy health pots
It
every
gets
time.
more efficient every time you
Right.
refill that potion. So here I end up landing the Test of Spirit, and I think I landed just by... Yeah, I end up landing it just because the minion in front of me dies. And he's not... Like, he's standing behind the minion, so he's fine, and then as soon as the minion dies, I land the E.
Right.
He turns to jump in, which is not necessarily the right thing, but he saves his spirit. I feel like that was not necessarily a good trade for him.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good trade for him. Especially since, again, you have the corrupting potion, so your HP sort of matters a bit less, as in you can heal up while he really can't. So
And
he
then I'm
loses a
just gonna
lot of
push in.
dominance. Right.
Rammus just ganked mid, so I know that I'm still safe. He still hasn't taken his red. But now I'm gonna bet that at about 4 minutes 20 seconds or so, he's gonna be available to gank. That was
Right.
a decent trade from Jayce
If possible, if you can figure out like that sort of timing, then you can time your recall and teleport back and have a ward now
there,
for
which is, I think, exactly what I do here.
okay, yeah, perfect. Yep. So you both recall, um, and you get he opts for a tier, while you opt for the phage components. So you actually have a lot more combat stats on him, which is really good for you.
If he was just gonna sit back and poke, that would be okay though, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of instances where tier is quite justified. If you have like a very poke-centric team, or if you don't really think you can kill your enemy, like let's say it's a really heavy sustained tank like Mundo or something, it'll be a bit harder to all in and kill. So you might just want to opt for that tier. In this matchup, though, I think it's the wrong call for him, because he really wants to establish dominance in this lane before you
And
start getting your
that's
ult.
720 gold if I'm going to scale.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do want to point out Rammus is ganking mid again, so I'm still still safe to shove. So I still want to go and shove the lane, get the minions down, and that way I can land things while he's trying to farm under turret instead of him harassing me with his ranged autos.
Right. And Jayce, who's hitting his, who's hiding under his tower, trying to farm minions, can't land his shock blast on you, but you can freely land your E. So it's probably the best situation you can be in, knowing that you're safe from the enemy jungler.
So in this instance, I pulled the spirit and I DPS the spirit down while also landing some poke on him. So I've already out-traded him.
Right.
You would disengage at this point, right? Because you've
I
already
think so,
lost
yeah.
the trade. You don't want to lose it harder.
Yeah.
I have another tentacle coming up here, and I have cooldowns available. I don't think that's right, because I just used my E Q.
That might be a replay bug,
Yeah.
but
If I can extend this more, that's going to be profitable for me.
right. Usually a Jayce shouldn't let you extend the trade like that because that just doesn't go. That's not what Jayce looks to do. But you made that mistake of trying to pursue, and he's punished. So.
So I'm still going with the tanky build. I'm still going with the Phage.
Right.
He's still going for more than damage items.
Yeah. That's a huge mistake on the Jayce's part. When you give up a kill like that, you have to accept that you're conceding the lane. Especially since Jayce doesn't really outscale Illaoi until maybe like full build.
Yeah, he does a good job of poking here.
Yeah. If he continues to do that, then he might be able to get you low enough to all in, but that will take a lot of time. So the Jayce shouldn't be playing impatiently. He should be looking to keep doing that and play the style that he bought, which is the tier.
So he does it to the skies here.
Questionable, I think.
So I'm already in the middle of still shoving my lane because I believe Rammus ganked bot.
Right.
Or something, I don't remember. I don't quite remember, but I was thinking I was safe, and so I'm just going to continue shoving the lane and landing free poke while he last hits under turret. But he goes in here to the skies, and I think it's important not to freak out.
Yeah, for sure.
And just panic. So I hit him with the Q. I hit him with the melee range test spirit. And I know that if I ult here, he's already running away. So if he's already running away, I need to flash. Because if I spawn tentacles here, it's going to spawn one about here and one about here or so, just a guess. Like, it's a little bit random. If I flash over to about here, I'm going to spawn tentacles farther up this way. So that's what happens. I get a tentacle spawn here and here. And then he runs away with his speed boost. If I burst the spirit out and he's still standing under the tower, I know I can get a free slam from these two tentacles. So that's what I'm going to do, is burst out the spirit, and he gets hit by both of these. And then from here, it's kind of just luck. I can try to dive him, or I can get lucky, and that tentacle slam will finish him off.
Nicely done.
There's one other interaction I want to show, and that's extremely late game. But I want to talk about your knockback, because we haven't talked about it much.
Right. Yeah. So Jayce's melee use, the knockback, is his primary disengage tool for most matchups, and he'll be looking to jump onto you in melee form, get off like an auto attack in his W, and then knock you away. And this is usually after he's switched forms from ranged. So if you can actually manage to use your ult at the exact same time that he tries to knock you back, you're unable to be CC'd, and thus you won't get knocked back. and if he doesn't have a really clutch Storm Raider Surge proc at that moment, then he's basically stuck um, fighting you
Right.
because he won't be knocked back.
So, is it possible to do it reactively?
Uh, it's very difficult. I would say maybe if you're Faker.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's a predictive only thing.
It's
And
yeah, it's pretty hard.
you're gonna have to just base it on your laning interactions and maybe the mental space of the player. Like, if he's losing, he'll throw that E early. If he's winning, he wants to hold it as long as possible.
Right, exactly. You can sometimes tell based on past experiences how he likes to use it. So
So in
keep
this
no.
instance, I'm holding my Test of Spirit until he's already jumping in on me, so I can guarantee the Test of Spirit. And then I'm pretty sure that as soon as he realizes the Test of Spirit is out there, he's going to knock me away and disengage. Because he's gotten pretty banged up because of it. And right there is the predictive ult. It cannot be displaced.
Right.
After that, he has nothing to disengage, so it's just a shake out. I think I ended up missing something there. That's all I wanted to show in this replay. But I have a couple of videos from another game. So he knocks me back there. Had
Right.
I ulted just a little bit later, that would have been a kill. But
Yeah.
because I ulted too early, I ulted when he dashed in on me. So I'm expecting it now, but I should have just held it for half a second. Because he autos, and then he does the knockback.
Right. Yeah. Usually Jace wants to throw in a melee auto because of his passive, which gives him a bit more bonus magic damage on his
And
auto.
I've
So
watched this replay probably 20 times, and I just can't figure out why the spirit disappears so quickly, because it starts out as full. He does to the skies. He does the auto E, and the duration of the spirit is gone by like 2/3. Like, by this
it
point, it has
might
one
be.
health left on it.
I'm not fully sure how Test of Spirit works, but like he has a few different damage procs.
It's
Like he
every
has his
tick of damage.
right. So his W is adding his the lightning field, the auto attack from just auto attack, then maybe the passive damage on the auto attack, plus the Q itself. I'm really not sure how it
Yeah, because
adds up,
it's
but yeah.
full, it's one tick less than full, so it's a 10-second duration now.
Right.
And then it's down to half. And the only thing he's done is auto me.
Yeah. I don't know.
The tentacles all slam and it's down to a 3-second duration left. I auto it, and then because I didn't have any mana to do anything else, and then he hits me with a shock blast and it's just done.
Right. Yeah, if Jace can successfully disengage with his E, then it becomes a lot harder to kill him. But like we saw in that clip, you're still able to pressure him off of his wave, and
Mm-hmm.
you gain a lot of wave pressure. So that's still pretty beneficial
Alright,
if
so
you can
I've
take a trade like
got
that.
another trade. This one, I'm getting ganked, and I can't remember if I was deciding that I was screwed no matter what I did, or if I just was completely oblivious and didn't notice. But I go for the 1-for-1, and then right there, he held his E for so long. I was expecting him to, like, the last time he did it, he auto-E'd. And this time he just held it forever.
Yeah, which is good. It's well played to switch it up every so often.
Um, and even in that instance, it's kind of still a win for me because I ended up using a flash over that wall and
Yeah, it was
escaping.
a nice flash.
Unfortunately, I'm a giant idiot, and I proceeded to push up without vision of Olaf, like immediately after backing and teleporting to lane, without ulti as well.
Yeah,
So, whereas in the previous replay, I showed like 4 instances of me pushing the lane when it was safe to do so, and getting lots of free harass because of it. This was one instance where I'm a giant idiot and didn't know where Olaf was and pushed up anyways,